Hi folks, we are happy to welcome you at our Dive into IT event. My name is Vladimir Zvertovsky and I'm a person today to guide you and our expert speakers through the agenda we have today. So our idea is not to make a deep dive in a certain technology stream. Our idea is to provide a certain overview of what's going on under the hood of IT and get in touch with top 5 areas in IT. Why top 5? Because IT means software in any way. And software means a certain life cycle. And a certain life cycle of a product and its delivery means interaction of professions, mostly of 5 roles and areas: BA, development, QA, automation, DevOps. So today is the right time to understand what they are and how they collaborate. What options are in place to join a particular role. So as far as details, first, for sure you have a set of links below this video. And as well, we plan to handle a series of events which will provide an insight in details for a particular technology stream. For sure, your questions are highly welcome today. Please try to type them in chat. Our team will do its best to answer them live. And some of your questions may get into a live conversation with a particular expert. So if they will fit the conversation and the time frame, they will be redirected to a particular expert. So stay tuned and active during our stream, and let's go ahead. Our first expert is Nina, an experienced business analyst. So Nina, we have like top 5 cool stuff about business analysis. But my impression, business analysis is some kind of heap of paper, old school workflows, some kind of bureaucracy working with this. What is the truth? Where is the truth?
Hi everyone. By the way, that is true. You have to read a lot, but from the other side you can find another way how to speed up this process and very fast to deep dive into the business area. You can find someone from client side, or you always can find people from our BA community who will simplify this process.
Okay, sounds promising. And what was your way to select the BA? Why did you started your career in this area?
From professional perspective, I'm a radio physics.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm graduated as a radio physics, but from the 4th course, I decided to join EPAM company as a junior developer. But after 2 weeks, my manager asked me to pass technical interview, and because he sees me as a business analyst. So that was something new in EPAM that time, but I tried and understood that I really like it. Okay. More than developing.
Sounds you were lucky, like to match to get a full match of your profession, of your university background, and your future profession. For me, radio physics sounds like some kind of very scientific and to be precise and very scientific. That means for me like radio physics, because all these like waves, all these physical laws and something that like requires certain attention to details, and
yes,
it looks like okay. So if to get some more insight on the activity of the business analyst in the project, from my impression, it looks like a business analyst can be or should be, please correct me if I'm wrong, like some kind of connector or bridger between different parts of the team, of the software development team. Am I right? And
Yes,
not like,
that is
what
true.
is the peculiarity of this role?
Yes, if we're asked who is a BA, BA is the person who bridges the gap between business and technology. Business analysts ensure that information gathered for understanding requirements is at the right level of detail required for developers, so developers can spend less time on refining requirements, less time on communications. Someone from them even don't like to communicate, let's be honest.
I know such persons as well. Even some senior developers feel them frustrated to like coordinate their activities across the team or contact other team working in parallel. So to have a business analyst in place is quite beneficial. Okay, like if it is some kind of key person, if what is not a function, not a role, but probably for me it sounds like in common sense. It sounds like the business analyst is a person who like give an opportunity for the team to feel they are not doing not writing some hundreds of code lines, but like they are doing some features, delivering some features. Is this impression true or not, or what could you add here?
In regards of developers, what they do?
Yeah,
or
no. Regarding the makes the team feeling they are doing something valuable for the customer. Like to because I was involved in the development of the product and still involved in the development of a product, and my impression is that if we have no specific role, some kind of business analyst or some kind of bridger between business and between like a coder or developer, it is very easy just to lost this like roadmap when you understand what is the value of what you are doing, because just write one more another 100 lines of code is not inspiring. It doesn't sound inspiring.
Given that business analysts on daily basis communicate with developers, with testing team, with other guys, you are not explaining only requirements. This rows from documentation. You explain the feature that we are going to deliver, and you inspire always the team that we are going to deliver a super fantastic product that makes not only client happy, but our end users as well.
Okay. And what is some kind of blue or pink dream of a business analyst? Okay, you are a business analyst on a project, and what's next? What can be done next? What is your like
career path?
Career path,
Yeah. If we're talking about business analyst career paths, you can start from junior position, and then you can grow to lead, to chief position. But at some point of your career path, you can be, you can pass assessment within EPAM. If we talk about EPAM, you can be a product manager. That is a very interesting path where you can grow.
Okay. Yeah, sounds promising, because it's more like about delivering something to an end user, to the audience, which make like get in touch with IT. Okay, and could you give some like tips and tricks how not to be exhausted if you are involved in such a complicated environment, communicative environment? I mean, if you connect together many parties with different characters, with different views of technology, with different like background in technology and soft skills.
You have to love this. You have to have an advanced communication skills. You have to be super energetic, and you have to love to communicate with people. You love people.
sense of humor, or what else? Will it be beneficial for me if I'll join the project as a business analyst to have some kind of ability to wrap my like dissatisfaction in some humors, in some jokes or something?
Yes, why not?
what else? What could you add else? Like, okay, probably I love people. I like to communicate with people, but when it comes to be some kind of routine, I guess there is a
But
risky
you know the
point to
goal,
start
you
hating
know the
them.
goal of the project. You help people to make their business better. You see the results. You see, for example, I can say about myself that for several years I'm working in healthcare domain and I see the result of our delivered products. We help people with cancer diseases. We create clinic of the future. That is amazing feeling.
Okay, from your description just right now, I can hear that you have to dive into some specific in various
Area or
domain
domain,
areas.
yes,
So,
definitely.
is it crucial or critical for a business analyst like to make a deep dive in the area or the main area of the product you are developing?
It depends. It depends because from one side, when you join the project, you may have the client and SMEs who are aware about the business, aware about domain, about everything that they want to build, and they can share with you this information, and then it simplifies everything. They will share the knowledge with you. But in parallel, you have to study. You have to jump into this domain.
That's why a
Yes.
business analyst never stop learning, right? Okay, because for me it's some kind of routine moment for every profession, each and every profession in IT. You never stop learning because it's like a quickly developing area, which requires to be always like on top, always like aligned with some trend, technology trend, or
Be in tonus.
yeah. That's why for me now, like, I got some more insight on what means like business analyst never stop learning. Okay, I hope that our audience will also understand more about this like domain area knowledge. Probably it can be challenging a bit for someone, but the backside of the moon is like you can develop yourself and get in touch with the areas you will never like touch in reality being in other role, right? Okay, that sounds great. So how to start again? Where to start as a business analyst?
First of all, we need to think about required skill set. If you feel that I'm ready to be a business analyst and I have everything from skill set perspective. And if we talk about how to grow within EPAM, here we have a variety of programs, variety of mentorings, workshops, conferences, meetups. So it's very easy.
Okay, will the links be helpful below the video, below our stream? Okay. Few more hints from your side. Probably like just before you get in touch with some centralized like training process. Some more hints, more adjustment. No.
I
That's
think you can join EPAM, our lab, and there we will focus how to be a business analyst.
Okay. So I guess we can say do not afraid to start your career as business analyst. Do not afraid like to make a deep dive in the diversity of domain areas. Like try yourself like the guy who is connecting some business side with the technical stream. Never stop learning. Like, solve the puzzle. Okay? So let me see if we have any questions from the audience. I suppose no. No questions from the audience right now, but anyway, guys, I will remind you that you have a chance to get your questions, to put your questions live in chat, and we may redirect them to the experts. Nina, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I guess we have like a chance to be curious, or at least the point to be curious about further development as a business analyst. Okay. let's switch to the next step of the software development lifecycle. I would like to invite our next guest, next expert, Aliaksandr, who is like the part of development team. So, Aliaksandr, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Development means coding, right? Everybody knows. But like your profession or your technology stream, your specific skill is something called .NET. What is the difference? Python, Java, JavaScript.
Why .NET is so specific?
Why .NET? Yeah, it's so specific.
I think some history besides this fact, because .NET framework, it was developed by Microsoft, a huge corporation, and behind the scenes of, behind the Microsoft, it's like a huge market that was won many years ago, especially for operating system like Windows. And of course, Microsoft didn't want to lose the chance to increase on the market everywhere, especially in development. And yeah, don't agree about the fact that it's only coding, because it's like some evaluation during these years. And right now, it's not only the coding, and like many interesting facts like machine learning. It's not real programming. Not real programming. It's not just coding. It's analyze the data, putting the data model, and try to combine it, something like this.
Okay, so if you are talking about Microsoft, I always imagine that you have to pay for some licenses, to buy some development tools or something like that. So is it mandatory for me as some kind of junior or an applicant for a training just to install all these huge stuff, buy some prepaid licenses to dive into this Microsoft Drive world?
I got your point, but at the same time, right now, Microsoft did many changes in this approach, and right now there are a lot of tools that are available for free for beginners, for anyone who want to start doing the developing and so on. Previously, yeah, probably like 5 or 10 years ago, it was like this, but right now there's like a community version of Visual Studio, the really great tool. And besides the Visual Studio, it's like there's a new one, Visual Code. So it's also free and available for many platforms, not only for Windows, for Mac and for Linux. So good, like a tool set that provided by Microsoft, and it's changed, I think, from their side.
And what does it mean free? For me, free sometimes means like I can go to the official website, download some initial installation pack, but then, like after 30 days, my support will be cut off, and I won't be able like to use it for free. What is the difference between free software you're mentioning and like this free trial software?
It's really free for Visual Code because there's no any limitations in like for 1 month and so on. So you can easily use it for your startup, production development, and of course for studying.
So did I get the point correctly that if I would like to play around the coding with C#, like to get in touch with some .NET ecosystem, it won't cost me like anything?
Just for internet, yes.
Okay. Yeah, internet connection is mandatory, for sure.
Yes.
At least to download the IDE. Okay, as far as tools, are there any like specific Microsoft-based tools, or you have some common tool set with other developers?
To be honest, right now it's all integrated in Visual Studio. When you want to install, you can choose which specific direction you want to install on your machine. It's about machine learning or probably game development like Unity, or just web development. So there's a possibility to choose like a models or components inside of Visual Studio.
Okay, so will I be able, in this case, if I will start my career as .NET developer, to switch to any other technology stream or not? What is like the level or the mandatory requirements, like the level I should reach just to think about, okay, I'm done with .NET, whether it's possible to switch to other stream? Will it be difficult for me or not?
No, because like there's the language in .NET, the main one, it's like a C#, and it's pretty similar to C++ and Java. And besides that fact, you can also switch because to like different areas or domains. All it's like an ecosystem of Microsoft. You can just, I think, learn the beginner step, like a Hello World application that you can easily like do in 5 minutes, because also like there's a huge community and documentation provided by Microsoft. You can like in few steps install Visual Studio, create the simplest application, and just like click F5, and you'll see the real application already, and then dive deeper, and so on. So no big like I think efforts from you should not be to switch to another domain. Yeah.
Okay, and regarding other tools like some kind of version control, some documentation, what is the difference? Whether is there any like huge gap between other like development stream, or the tool set can be pretty similar to the other streams? I mean, not the specific of language syntax and some like grammar construction, let's say, but regarding the tool set, whether it's similar or not with other technology stream.
Inside of .NET Microsoft, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Let's imagine I downloaded the IDE, Visual Studio Code, and I decided like to play around with .NET, with C#. I tried some constructions. I get in touch with coding, and then I decided to switch to some other like programming language. Okay, let's imagine it's not mandatory, but let's imagine. Okay, because the life of a developer is like a long-term distance, and nobody knows what technology will be on top next, or what would be your next project. Okay, so if I will be in this situation, how frustrating from the toolset perspective will be the switch to some other direction for me? Like, am I like forced to use another version control, another continuous integration service, or another development workflow, or they can be pretty similar?
They will be pretty similar. Again, like if we are talking about especially Visual Studio, it's just like another component that you can like uninstall previous one and add a new one. And for example, like for machine learning, you're just adding this model in Visual Studio, and there's a available start project, like some sample with which you can start, and then just following the documentation that provided by Microsoft, doing the more things. And yeah, you correctly mentioned about CI/CD or Git and so on. Again, it's all integrated in Visual Studio, so you don't need to worry about, hey, I don't know, I need to install something new to support this type of files, I don't know, or this workflow. No, it's all like out of the box provided by Visual Studio, and it's like pretty easy, I think. So
okay, I really like service out of the box, because in reality, I often face a situation when I just approach some service, let's say even technical service, if I would like to pass the car maintenance. And from time to time, I feel myself really frustrated and confused when I do not understand the area I'm dealing with right now. I need an expert or some minimal package to be delivered to me, to be provided for me, like for a I don't know, newbie in this area from scratch. And really, the things you're talking about sound to me like if I come to .NET Universe, I'll have some initial bunch out of the box, and we'll have some kind of professional tool framework out of the box again to start with, to understand that I need these ABCD tools, and as soon as I will continue my career, I'll be able to to apply all this tool set to the .NET area or other development area. Okay, let's get back a bit. Let's step aside or step back a bit. We got acquainted with Nina, who was a business analyst, and she told that, or confirmed the impression that the business analyst is some kind of person who helps to understand what the team is doing, the development team is doing. Can you please describe some interaction workflow, considering that you are developer and you are interacting with the business analyst, and grab some task or ask some questions or whatever, how it looks like, BA and developer?
I think it's a little bit different story because on one hand, we can see the situation when it will be like a regular developer or coder, when you're just sitting in front of your laptop and just coding and just need to communicate with probably a business analyst or your manager or scrum master, something like this. But again, in the current today, so in general, software changed engineering, and I don't know, if you're a software engineer and you're willing to have more communication with clients, with customers, you'll be able to do this. And in such case, it will be a lot of interactions with another team members, like business analyst, customer, I don't know, probably, not probably, of course, from somebody from QA team, also DevOps team, and so on. So it's
okay, but where is the point when you start communicating with business analyst? Every time you writing code, and in every 10 to 5 minutes, the guy from business analyst team side comes and says, "Hey, is the feature is ready? Hey, how your requirements or code meet the requirements? How it looks like?" Or you get some some heap of papers laying beside your laptop when you are coding, and each and every time you write a code line, you just looking into the paper, the requirements, and try to match it. How it looks like. So how let's say again how the requirements are transformed to code.
Okay. It of course depends on how team in general works, what is the style of work. But I think the more or less usual situation when requirements gathering by business analyst and explained to developer, .NET developer, for example. After some, I don't know, clarification and communication with business analyst, developers start doing coding, and after some time provide some result, demo it. And if it's okay and aligned with expectation, then proceed. But of course, during the understanding the requirements and putting in the code, some also time need to change something, probably improve, because also it's good when you have ability to improve something, suggest, and put some your
Okay, Alexander, thanks. And we have a question from our audience. It's somewhere beside the topic we are just discussing. We are discussing right now. I'll read it. How could you share your daily routine? How developers manage dividing their tasks daily, weekly, monthly, and long-term tasks effectively, and at the same time stay focused on main?
The last one, stay focused on what?
On main goal or main task, or something which is important.
I see. In general, it's of course, big efforts putting in a planning, good planning, because we understand that some features will be long running, another one will be short, and such approach when you plan some task for maintenance, for feature development, new feature development, and combine them together with a good planning. In such case, routine will be not so, because if you like stuck somewhere in new feature development, new time to analyze it, help of business analyst or another team members, you can switch to probably to another task that will be done quickly and you'll see the result. So when you're achieving something like a success story, it's help you to going forward. So something like this, high level, I think. Mix up,
okay,
so different tasks.
So it's some kind. It sounds like some kind of combination of the software development methodology. I mean, the particular framework you are using to coordinate inside the team, right?
Exactly.
You mentioned something from Scrum ceremonies, and the second part is some kind of personal time management, right? So just to get used to switching. And regarding your being involved in different tasks, can this task be related to different projects? I mean, should you be as developer devoted to a single project, and you can be involved in parallel in few?
Of course, it depends. If person interested in I don't know, doing many things in parallel, of course it's possible, but not for all coders. It's efficient to switch many times in a day between many contexts. So it's like you're focusing on one task, developing a feature, and after a few hours you need to switch to another context, understand the topic, discuss with other team members. For someone it's hard, but who likes it, of course it's possible.
Okay, yeah. I think it's some kind of, yeah, you should have, or you should follow a certain approach from my experience as well. I'm not writing code on daily basis right now, but again, task switching has its particular limits, certain limits, because for sure you need some focus time just to dive into a particular task, irrespectively whether it's coding or something like to control someone, or like to coordinate with someone. That's for sure you should follow some certain approach. Okay, yeah, we have one more question. Good question from the audience. From my perspective, good question. I'll read it again. Hi guys, what do you think? Node.js or .NET for starting backend? I'm front-ender. So in other words, what technology would you like? What stream? What solution would you like to recommend for a backend to start from scratch? Node.js or something from .NET side?
Thank you. Interesting question. And it's I want to recommend, to be honest, Blazor technology. It's a new approach that's provided by Microsoft that under the hood we have like C# coding that but some magic transforming to JavaScript, something like this. But of course, it's not like this. So it's a good start point for pure backend developers if you like have experience in desktop applications and switch to API development recently. It's a good start point to also have some experience with front-end development. There's possibilities, so don't need to I don't know, learn JavaScript and so on. You're just using this C# .NET ecosystem again with Visual Studio, and yeah, provides a full application. I mean, front end, back end that can be also deployed to the cloud. So my suggestion, I think, start looking in a Blazor technology that provides this ability for pure backend developers.
Okay, okay, great. I guess our audience got the answer, even more than was asked. A bit wide area was covered, so that sounds great. Okay, thanks, Alex. One question from my side again. How do you like relax from your routine? Can you say that like the coding developing is some kind of boring task? How do you save yourself from routine and like how do you how do you save yourself from some kind of backache or something like that, backbone ache? Where is the limit when you just need to say yourself and just stop, relax, or switch to other task or something? I don't know.
To be honest, need to again focus on your planning, time management, and about the sitting in front of laptop. Right now, many of us working at home, and my hobby right now is when I try to when I have a time to communicate with someone, I try to doing it. I try to stand up and doing some physical actions and so on. So not only sitting in front of the laptop all the day, and of course switching between your work and your personal life. It's also a good one.
Okay, and one more question, a short question. Just try to answer in few phrases, probably. How can you describe a typical set of tasks which are which are accepted, can be handled by a junior? Like, okay, I'm a guy who starts his career in .NET development. It sounds cool. The area looks promising. Like many technical peculiarities are in place. But when I come to my first project, what I would do?
A few phrases. Okay, it's a small addition to the existing feature. Fixing bug that in production, for example, and probably some enhancement from code perspective, code quality.
Okay, and when the challenge will be, like, when the first true challenge, let's say, will come to me, to my hands? True feature and all
true
this
feature.
stuff.
This feature, you need to understand the whole application, in which place you need to add, I don't know, few lines of code to, I don't know, develop this magic. And with a bug, for example, it's also like a analyze process that you need to understand how models correlate with other effects and so on, and put the, I don't know, right fix at the right place.
Okay, nice shot regarding bugs. We will switch to this topic, and our next speaker will be the guy who saved the product from bugs. Thank you, Aliaksandr. You are the guy who produces the bugs, at least sometimes. Yeah, no chance to escape. True programming deals with bugs. So some bugs are fixed, other are produced. So they should be timely, let's say, discovered. So thank you again. Thanks for giving us the insight into .NET development. Again, thank you guys who asked good questions. And we will switch to our next expert. Thanks.
Thank you for a good conversation, and yeah, thank you for the good questions.
Okay, guys, we welcome Maria. Maria is a QA with probably long success story. If the story is not so long, so Maria will correct me. So my first question, again, we mentioned that the QA person, quality assurance person, or like a software test engineer, is a person who looks into the product quality, try to understand what is wrong, what is not wrong, and considering this, it looks to me this is a person who sometimes have to say no to a big boss. Isn't frustrating? How do you feel about that?
Hi everybody. Yeah, sometimes we need to say no to big boss, and we have good reasons for this. Testing is very important because it may cause monetary losses or even human losses, and the history has a lot of examples of this. For instance, some of Amazon's third-party retailers saw that price for their products was reduced, very reduced, and they lost a lot of money. Also, there was a case when a fighter plane fell victim due to the issue, and Nissan cars, 1 million cars, bug sensor detectors. So we really sometimes say no, and that's why our customers sleep better.
Okay, it sounds rather tricky and rather responsible position, let's say. And what was your your set of minds? What was your way to join this area? Why, like, why not like coding? I guess developers have some benefit. Just the guy who is after them, who follows their process and look for the bugs, and at least there is some kind of right to make a mistake. But it sounds to me a software test engineer has no right to make a mistake. It's like stressing, it's challenging. So why software testing for you?
Yeah, actually 5 years ago I was an accountant and I also couldn't make mistake. But my working day consisted of different tables in Excel, different tables in accountant programs, and some communication with my colleagues. Each my day was similar to the previous one, the same tasks, the same questions related to work, routine. So almost every day I looked at my watches with question when I can go home, what time is it now. It's definitely not work of my dream. And yeah, I really have a dream. Some of my friends shared with me stories about very interesting jobs, about the company they were working in, and I was excited. And as you can guess, the company they told me about was EPAM. I knew that EPAM have a lot of different trainings, and so one day I opened EPAM site and started my investigation about trainings. Introduction to software testing training interested me the most, and so maybe for now I should tell about who is QA engineer. QA engineer is a specialist who ensures the quality of a product, and it's really very important, and this excited me and interested me. Of course, QA engineer has a lot of collaboration. It's collaboration with business analyst regarding requirements, the test requirements. And
and let me jump in. Okay,
okay.
Who, at least just to understand the priority, who is the first guy to approach business analyst? Who will meet Nina after the requirements are ready and ready for development? Developer or just the QA engineer who will test the requirements for issues?
Yeah, once we see requirements for the first time, we start testing them. And
so
is
it possible? Is it a reality to test something which is not developed yet?
Yeah, of course, requirements might be and should be tested.
Okay.
We ask additional questions regarding requirements, and because of us, requirements might be improved. Once requirements are really ready for taking into development, developers take them, and during this time we start our test cases creation because we test the functionality by our test case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me that Aliaksandr is under some kind of umbrella of QA process and each and every stage. Just even before the requirements get into his hands, the requirements are tested, and again, his feature is tested. Testing everywhere.
Actually, all the team can test requirements, not only QA engineers. And this is a great job when all team member test requirements, ask questions, and all team has the same is on the same page.
And should the team pass some kind of overall training, like how to test something? I don't know, or not. How to get this QA-oriented mindset?
Actually, when we see some requirements, we ask ourselves questions how this can be tested. What is expected from a business perspective? What will be expected from users? And the more we ask questions, the less questions will be later when functionality will be implemented.
Okay. And we have a few questions from the audience. The guys online are active. So the first question is, what bug was the most surprising for you?
Actually, almost all bugs are surprising. Sometimes, of course, we expect some bugs, but we don't really know where we can find them, and it's a pretty tricky question.
Is it a good surprise? I mean, like when you face the bug, can it be called like, surprise, or just some other impression?
Yeah, actually, some time ago, I imagined myself and our QA engineers as Ghostbusters. Knowledge are weapon and bugs are hosts. Not everybody can see them, but they really exist, and it's really very interesting when you can find bug and not everybody see them.
Okay.
So
It sounds like to deal with some host.
yeah.
So I have a really interesting question. Like, it's still being typed. Okay, let's wait for the full phrase to be completed. Okay. So another question from the audience: what soft skills are mandatory to have for QA? Like, can we say that like you should strictly define certain soft skills to have or not to have to join the QA area, or none?
A very good question, thank you. Actually, from a point of view, first of all, it should be curiosity. If you are interested in how things are working and how they can be breaking, it's really your specialty.
So I guess it can be adjusted or applicable for everybody in this studio. I guess somewhere in childhood everybody broke something and just try to understand what's inside of in the doll or in some tiny car. So the first step is done. What's next?
And when you are adult, you can break IT products and receive money for this. It's also a very good point.
Yeah.
Not only break products and dolls, for example, cars.
Like some kind of slogan from breaking toys to breaking software, and the second phrase for money. For money.
For money, yeah.
Okay.
Also, it's communication skills. From a point of view, key engineers should have very good verbal and written communication skills. And being a QA engineer is a great opportunity to interact with other people and to make new friends. But also it will be ability to work as a part of a team because it's a lot of collaboration with business analysts, with developers, and we all work for the same goal.
It sounds. Let me interrupt you again. But it's. I'm very suspicious person today, so I'll ask tricky questions. Probably sometimes. Sometime we'll transmit the tricky questions from the audience. Again, we have few more for you. You are getting more and more popular. So okay, I hear certain points which are quite similar with the BA profession, with the BA area. So to be curious, to be precise, to be attentive, to be collaborative, to be like, to be ready to communicate. But where is the difference? So BA and QA, they are even written quite similar. Just one letter is a difference.
I agree.
Why QA, not BA?
Because we also can test functionality and we can find bugs. As for me, it's more interesting.
Okay, I think a few questions from the audience will be quite helpful for you to continue with answering this question from my side. Why BA? Why QA, not BA? So first question is like, do testing engineers get their hands dirty with writing code regularly, or do you automate more?
No.
Like coding and QA, it's like two different universes, or something which is getting in touch often?
Okay, very good question, thank you. Well, actually, it's not required for us to know code, to know some programming language. Of course, if we have this knowledge, it's very good for us and we are more valuable in the team. But it's more about automated testing.
Okay, let's put this topic on hold.
Okay.
We will have a chance to get more insight on that later on. So stay tuned. Yeah, keep your attention still. We'll get back to automation topic. Okay, and the vice versa question from the different side of the moon. Like, do EPAM have developers who prepare test cases before coding?
Actually,
Did you face such magic person?
we can talk about unit tests, and yes, developers prefer and they create a unit test, but it's not like step 1, step 2, step 3. It's more about some automated testing of code,
Okay.
not manually testing.
Yeah, okay, that can be rather technical, like tricky and technical, complex approach. And who is like, is it some kind of a side effect of testing mindset for a developer, or it's someone else is pushing him or she like, do unit testing, write unit testing, prepare your test? Can it be QA, by the way, or not? The guy who is pushing all the team just do testing on all level, just test the requirements, write unit tests, like fix the bugs and etc.
No, we don't need to push developers.
Who is the watchdog, by the way? Yeah.
Our developers create unit tests by themselves, and there is no need to push them. So it's a good process, and it's recommended by theory, maybe.
By the way, one thought came to my mind. What about behavior-driven development? Is it like the situation? I'm not sure all the audience is aware of it, but from my perspective, it's a quite interesting topic to be discussed in a dedicated probably stream or something. But today isn't the case when developers deals directly with some test cases or use cases. Can we say that in this like workflow, in this approach, it's possible when developer is forced to deal with testing?
Well, on my project, yeah, we have behavior-driven development. It's like we have some steps which are very easy to read to business analysts, QA engineers, even our customer. And each step is automated. It's created on code level, and we have automated testing engineers.
So again,
It
automation
wasn't about
is spreading the network. Like in our conversation, okay, we are getting more and more closer. Like okay, more and more close. Yeah, tight connection. So it sounds to me that QA appears to be like a very complex area. I mean, not complicated, but complex, like as a set of tools, as a set of processes. And it sounds to me that we can say QA is everywhere. Just when BA is writing his requirements, QA is watching like what is done and what is finally going to developer. When developer writes his code snippet, like there is some kind of unit testing, and finally some test cases being written, and finally bugs are detected. So probably if you are the guy who would like to be everywhere at every stage of the process, so JNQA, it sounds to me in this way. Is it true?
Actually, we try to be everywhere, and we try to find all possible bugs. Today software testing is popular, very popular, and it's required for each product.
And being a QA, can I drill down in some database, in some like web service connection, API testing? Is it still a QA-related area?
Well, we test web services. Sometimes we can test databases, but also we test UI. So it depends on the project, and the more knowledge you have, the more different projects
But
where will
again,
be available.
manually, right?
Yeah.
And again, a question about routine. and like building the bridge to the next speaker. How do you fight with routine? Is it do you have some tips and tricks for the audience, like how to deal with it like on your own side, and how to deal with it on technical side, like your personal tips and tricks, and probably technical solution?
Yeah, actually,
Few words.
Frankly speaking, testing is not routine for me, especially in comparison with my previous job. Of course, there are some tasks or some test cases that are not very interesting. They might be boring, and thankfully, we have automated testing.
Okay, great. Finally, automated testing, but few more questions. The audience can't stop. Okay, last few questions. 2 questions. Okay, there is some more general one and more specific. Let me focus on more specific. Yeah. Considering all this diversity of what QA is doing, and all this communication stuff, can the QA be the introvert person, or can introvert person become a QA?
Yeah, actually, I know a few introverts. Also, it depends on the team. In some team, there are a lot of different QAs, and they collaborate with each other each day for a lot of questions. And also, there are small projects, for example, where one QA work on his or her questions, and there are not so much collaboration and communication.
So it's possible.
Yeah,
finally,
it's possible.
So you can be the only like watchdog or a fighter for the quality in a project, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that can be quite responsible, challenging, and even curious. Okay, and the last question probably. How much time does it take to become junior, middle, senior?
It depends. It's a very interesting question, but it depends.
Just the average.
When you have just started learning software testing, it might take you a few months to become a junior testing engineer. It might take you about 6 months to become 6 months or maybe 1 year to become a middle key engineer. As for me, I became a senior specialist when my experience was 2.5 years.
Okay, sounds reasonable. It's somewhere around the average, even for other technical streams, more like complicated from technical side probably. But yeah, that's great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I guess that was the very informative overview. So finally, we are moving to the magic of automated testing. Maria, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will greet Mikalai. Mikalai, Nikolai, or just Nick? Okay.
Hello, everyone. So I'm happy that you find the time to join our meeting. Not a meeting, but stream.
Yeah,
So
a meeting for us, but stream for others. Okay. So finally, the magic of automation. Everybody is talking about that on every stage, even developers, even like a QA, Maria from QA side, several times mentioned you. Not you, but automation, the magic of automation. So where is the magic?
So I can say that magic is that it helps us to improve our life, to make it easier in different spheres. It's not only related to software development. If we, let's say, imagine our daily routine tasks or our responsibilities or our needs, we often refuse doing something because it's too boring, it's too routine, or we cannot cope with that. So in this case, we receive some kind of assistance from automation side, and we try to automate something that was previously manual.
So optimize is some kind of mindset, or
Not
or
not only mindset.
Can it be taught? I mean, can it be studied? Can it be trained? Like to see the point, what can be automated?
What can be automated? Automated can be different areas of our life. So, starting from, I don't know, washing of our clothes, we use special devices for that. So we prefer automatic clothes washing, clothes drying to hand drying. Yep. So we are trying to automate every sphere in our life. When we are talking about software development process, we have some tasks, not just tasks, perhaps some nodes, which we are currently developing and we are working on, so which prefer to be automated instead of manually testing, because sometimes it may take a lot of time, so it's time-consuming operation. Sometimes it may be not available for manual testing. Sometimes it's even difficult to test because you need to, let's say, you need to build some kind of complex data which gonna be sent to backend and validated there.
Can you describe it in like a more human readable way? Like what is complex data which is unreachable for manual tester? As we have heard from Maria's side, QA engineer is some kind of commandos who can drill in each and every stage of software development.
Definitely.
Can it be? Can it be? And I'm like curious about the points which are still unreachable for the QA guy,
okay,
manual tester.
Yeah, sure. Let's. I want to provide you an example. Like, for example, we have live streaming. So a lot of data should be sent to our server, and a lot of data should be received from the server to receive high quality stream. So it can be done, it should be done in a short. So in case if we try to do it manually, we will face with a complicated task that we need a lot of manual QA engineers who will be dealing with
like clicking,
sending, generating.
Wow.
Because click and send, it's easy, but generate.
So
in case if you
thank you automation for the opportunity to stream at YouTube, right?
Yep.
Great.
So it's not just stream at YouTube. So automation is everywhere, like as manual QA everywhere as well. So for example, we have different complex devices, or I don't know, let's imagine aircraft. So it has its own nodes which should be properly tested, because from this testing we have dependency on people's lives, on our relatives, on our friends, and so on. So everything should be tested, but the main question is how it should be tested, manually or in automatic way. So that's why we need to define some criteria when to automate, when to use manual testing. Is it possible to automate or not? What kind of project we have? If it's short term, definitely it's better to spend some time on manual
let's
testing.
consider we are going to test airplane. In our slide, our audience can see popular. Okay, about popular, it's quite clear because we just mentioned certain cases. Okay, but regarding like easy,
I can say that test automation area, it is endless area, infinite area. You can learn permanently. So thanks to 21st century, it provides us with smart houses, smart homes. It generates us with lots of devices, gadgets, and so on. And each of them should be properly tested, because in case if we miss something or somebody miss something, it won't be so efficient and so pleasant for people.
okay, if I do not have an airplane but would like to test the airplane, can I build it automatically? I mean, with the help of automation.
Testing of airplane?
Yeah.
Of course.
Is it
depends.
possible, again, just to understand the scale of what can be done with automation, right? Like, can I build some kind of virtual airplane or do some stops or mocking, like, or something?
Sure, for sure.
Before I apply it to physical device.
So the main goal is not just to use physical device or real device. Sometimes we need to emulate something, like like you already mentioned, stub, mocks, and so on. We need to produce something, and then it can be used in our automated testing. As soon as physical device or physical nodes will be available for testing, we're gonna switch our automation focus on this object and use it as our main test object for further.
Okay, okay. And could you handle some kind of demo
Sure.
right now? Any connection is needed?
Yes, we need some connection, but it's not related to airplanes,
Okay,
aircraft.
something less complicated, I guess.
Yep,
Okay,
it's definitely
but
less complicated.
anyway, let's look at the magic of automation.
Sure, I've specially prepared some lines of code. Also, it's unfair not to mention that there were some infrastructural items were launched previously. So I was using EPAM. It was used for interaction with mobile devices and Android simulator itself from Android Studio from Google. So the main idea is to provide visibility to prove that automation is not something complicated. Everything you need is just to gain basic knowledge, and then you can apply it on your own. So here I want to show two tests. One of them test, one of them just colorful actions. So first of them is related to bouncing balls. I cannot say that it tests, but at least it's colorful.
Okay, yeah. Funny
So
stuff is okay as well.
here we have navigation through the menu and trying to kick in these balls.
Okay,
And another test will be related to calculator.
okay,
So
okay.
when I launch, it's gonna be used for testing of some operation. In our case, something goes wrong as it usually goes. And I hope I know what has happened. Perhaps there are some issues with our EPAM. But anyway.
Okay, by the way, we have few questions for you from the audience. So you may just go ahead with technical setup if you need. I'll just read a bit what comes from our audience. Okay. Are we ready just to go with the demo side?
Oh, wait a second, there are some issues with Android simulator, but anyway, I can show it on the fly if you wish, perhaps. It's gonna be interesting for somebody.
I also would like to watch it like in live mode. Okay, the magic of automation. Yeah, I can see it working as well. Finally, yeah.
Okay, something goes wrong with Android debug bridge. I have no connection with device, so perhaps we can proceed with that, but anyway, I can shortly describe what I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
Not gonna show you, perhaps I will do it a bit later.
Okay, guys, you can see the troubleshooting of automation in live mode, so yeah.
So there are some issues with our emulator, so it's unreachable right now. I need to perhaps restart it, but it requires some time. Anyway, it was planned to show, in addition to bouncing balls, some kind of calculator test. It's gonna be some kind of division and so on. I will go through the test just to show you how it looks like. You should understand that this test was written, I don't know, in a couple of minutes just to show as an example. So we are pressing some buttons and using divide operator, and then we validate that results which we receive on our mobile device is equals to our expected one. So that's the simple test which can show us that there is nothing difficult here to start automation from.
Okay.
So there are some troubles, as you may see, so we're faced with some issues, but anyway, finally, all of them could be easily resolved. Unfortunately, I cannot connect to my emulator. I'll give it a try. One more. Even I'll wipe the data.
Sometimes something goes wrong and you cannot explain it. So I guess some manual tester effort can be involved here, or at least more deep dive in the technical side. So, Nikolai, should we expect like the can it be done in parallel?
I think we can proceed.
Okay, okay. So let's go ahead. Probably some tools will be restarted, and we will be able finally to launch the demo. But if not, let's answer at least the questions which came from the audience. So the first question is regarding the programming languages which we can learn to be successful in automated testing and become of EPAM. Let's say, yeah, two questions on the same topic regarding the automated, regarding the programming languages required for automated testing, and specifically question, do we have JavaScript automation training in EPAM?
So answering these questions, I can say that in this area, test automation engineers or software engineering tests can be really relaxed because they are free people, they have no rules, no limits, because all programming languages are pretty required for automation, so you will definitely find your place in this automation world. So speaking about JavaScript laboratory and JavaScript trainings, yes, we have. So just follow links which are in description to this stream and pass the registration. So I hope to see you soon in EPAM. So I think that there is no limitation in language choice.
Any advice on your side, like what to start, or any preference, like what technology stream to select? I mean, programming stream.
First of all, I suggest to start from English, so it's some kind of an entry criteria. Taking about technical stack and programming stream, so it depends on personality. So in case if you're pretty good at JavaScript, so I don't see any barriers for starting JavaScript automation. If you're pretty good in, let's say, Java programming, let's try. It's not a problem. Moreover, I can say that JavaScript engineers, Java engineers are rather popular engineers nowadays, and it's getting popularity. In addition to it, I can add following. When we are talking about implementation of tests of native language, let's touch a bit such areas as mobile devices, as I don't know, game consoles, TV applications, TV devices, and devices for our smart houses. We can see following. Related to mobile, sometimes it is good to start automation using native languages. In Android, it may be Kotlin plus Espresso.
Native, you mean not speaking language, not human language,
not
but
human language, programming
native for the mobile platform or something?
Yep, you are correct. So for mobile, it's gonna be Swift, Kotlin. For any other platforms, I mean not related to web, it may be C++, .NET, and so on. When we are talking about implementation of tests for web applications, for backends, it's gonna be implemented using any of languages.
Okay.
Preferred, for example, in case if you wish with your developers closely, in close collaboration, sometimes it's very useful to follow their language. If JavaScript was selected as main language for development of front ends and so on, so it is sometimes it's preferable to start automation using the same.
Okay. Okay. Great. So for me, it looks like a full bunch of technologies which are included, and like any language can be selected. So automation can be like approached from any side of technology stream.
Sure, as I mentioned, no limits here, because all over the years we receive more and more devices, and they should be tested somehow.
Okay, and by the way, can you be connected somehow with cloud and DevOps or
Definitely.
something?
So
What is the like point of connection?
so
between
this
you?
intersection happens when we are talking about some kind of accelerators or something else. So it means that we need some infrastructure for doing automation. We can do it manually, I mean launch, prepare, and do it from scratch. But there are a lot of cloud providers who did it instead of us, and we can avoid this step and just reuse their part. So it means that they provide us opportunity to launch mobile test on their mobile devices in cloud, to launch our web test against browser emulator in their cloud. It's a direct interaction with cloud. When we are talking about some kind of DevOps interaction, we can refer to following topics. So sometimes we need to set up or establish infrastructure points on our own. So we are trying to be injected, and not we be injected, but automation injected into development pipeline. In this case, we are trying to achieve it and investigate at which stage we can do it. So we may find this entry point, and this entry point might be located in cloud. So it's going to be separate Jenkins job. It's going to be separate build tools, which going to be launched.
So let's leave some mystery about automation for a dedicated stream, because as far as you proceed, I still like feel like more and more technical details are injected in our speech, and probably that would be better to step aside and keep the backward compatibility like with manual testing. So all this magic stuff you mentioned, all this like mobile testing on all this, is it like, what is the basis for the scenarios? How do you interact with manual testers, and do you really save them from like boredom? Or
sure. First of all, when you join project as test automation engineer, you should define on how to deal with that. So how to build the effective strategy and plan, how you're gonna be inserted into this QA process, and so on. You are always in close collaboration with manual QAs, because until automation was created, they are responsible for functional parts of the application. So you initiate phase of planning. Based on this planning, you find, you prepare step-by-step instruction. What should be automated? How should be automated? You will decide it based on the feedback from manual QA, business, and other guys who are interested in successful story. And finally, you are building some kind of framework which gonna be used for further automation of the project. As soon as you receive working product, I mean automation working product, you are trying to decrease manual part and increase automation part.
So should Maria be afraid to be eliminated from the team?
I
like
don't
a QA?
think so. I don't think so, because first of all, automation requires some time. It's not something magic like hop and that's it. No, it doesn't work so. You need time to prepare some scenarios, to prepare some...
Okay, but what she will do? You will automate, let's say, 90% of work. What she will do?
She will be responsible for testing of features which cannot be automated, and for features which were just developed when automation is not in sprint development.
Okay, Nikolai, let's again save some mystery for a dedicated stream. I guess we touched a bit the diversity of topics which can be covered in detail in a dedicated stream. Again, guys, we welcome you to join our next sessions. But let's switch to some magic universe where code lives and where the automation is running all the way, like cloud and DevOps side. So thank you, Nikolai. You're welcome to answer any questions from live chat, not offline, but like in background when we continue the talk with our next speaker. Yury is welcome to join the stream. So thanks again.
Thank you, colleagues.
See you soon.
Colleagues. Yep, see you soon, EPAM.
Okay. So Yury is welcome to join us. and it looks to me, it seems to me, he is the person who is guilty on the prompts from my smartphone, which asks me each and every time, like, would you like to upgrade your app and download some like new version? So, Yury, is it true? Are you the guy who is like creating some artificial universe which like spreads the new versions of software, mobile applications all over the world?
Okay, first of all, hi Vladimir, hi everyone who is able to stay here to listen about DevOps and its purpose. And this question is also not for me, but also for our audience. Have they ever noticed how frequently changes occur in IT world? For instance, operation systems for laptops, smartphones have minor updates in months, but major updates in a year. As for mobile applications, games, browsers, etc., their updates could be weekly or even more frequent. And I strongly believe that's all because of DevOps. Historical talks about DevOps began in 2009, and if you open Google Trends, type DevOps, you can discover that DevOps topic is super popular for the last 3 years.
Okay, why only 3 years? It seems to me that Amazon...
It begins at 2009, but for the last 3 years, it's super popular. It's a trend in...
Okay, so let's get one step back. So Mikalai was from automation team, and he mentioned that he is dealing somehow with your DevOps process or cloud technologies. So where is this point of connection between you and him? Like if we take the process of software development lifecycle, like BA like creates the requirements, develops like a code snippet, a feature, QA like struggles for the quality, automation helps like to like provide a quick build and etc. and like look for the bugs automatically, let's say. And where is your place? Like,
so DevOps plays in each step of this cycle.
Wow. I thought before that Maria is the core person who is dealing with each and every stage of the development, but now it looks like not.
Maybe it's
Just
also
prove it.
It's also possible. It's not mandatory to have DevOps on each stage, but if you want to build something effective at a high speed with appropriate changes, evolving your software in accordance with business and market needs, you need to use DevOps practices and DevOps engineers inside of your software development lifecycle.
Let's describe some very simple environment. Let's say I'm as a guy who would like to play around with, let's say, development and automation. I am like downloading Microsoft Visual Studio, just writing some code snippet. As Nikolai mentioned, I can write some code regarding automation. I can like have an insight of how to test it. And per my expression, from my perspective, I just can run all this stuff locally and don't need any smart environment connected to it.
Yeah.
So what is the benefit for me?
Okay,
Where is the benefit?
Let's look under the hood of DevOps skills, which could be represented as a layered structure. The first layer is the management of Windows, Linux operating systems and networking, which means installation, configuration, tuning, and troubleshooting in case of any issues. Usually those activities are performed by a classical system or network administrators. The second big layer is automation, which could be divided into sub-layers like scripting, configuration management tools, infrastructure as a code approach, containers, clouds, and CI/CD. You may be familiar with such scripting languages as Bash, PowerShell, Python, Ruby, and others, so they could be used for daily routines, tasks, automation in a classic way. Some of these languages were used for the creation of specialized configuration management tools like Ansible, Chef, Puppet, StallStack, etc. Because of their popularity and large communities, you could easily define desired configuration or a state by blueprints and apply it to as many servers or virtual machines as you need. This approach allows avoiding errors from manual configuration, speed up provision, faster clone or update of your systems. Apart from the desired configuration, we need also manage the whole infrastructure, which could consist of not only servers or virtual machines, but also network security and others. Infrastructure as code approach helps us here. This means that we could define required infrastructure as a source code in textual files in a specialized format, run by appropriate tool, and after some time receive the desired infrastructure or even create several infrastructures at once.
So let me jump in. Did I understood you correctly that like you have two major points on your table? Like you can write some code or just use some like specific utility tools like to configure something. Let's call it something. And the second part is that you should do that like to scale all this like computer power to the required level, like not to suffer from performance like issues or something like that, to do quickly, to do rapidly, to do iteratively. Is it true?
Partially yes, but in case of developers are writing code, but they also need something that we call infrastructure where this code could be run.
So if I need like to launch the application which will like provide the service for not just a few persons but like millions of persons, I will need your help, right? Like to
yes, because
to deliver some
we need
infrastructure
to
setup.
make not only our application scalable but also scalable infrastructure for that. And we could do that, suppose with new architectures like containers. We could containerize our applications and use also clouds. By containers, we mean an approach to pack an application and its dependencies in a single image, which could be run in an isolated environment. Containers could be run in groups on the other systems environments without worries that the application will not start.
So did I get the point correctly that if I'm developer, let's say, and would like to set up even set up some environment locally, it's convenient for me like to launch some container which will contain, let's say again, contain all the dependencies and full bunch of components of application components and connection with some outside like parts.
Yes, but we
different
also
stages, different landscapes.
But we also use separate auxiliary containers to run, for instance, database or front-end server like or proxy as Nginx, or scale even our application on several containers by horizontal scaling, or increase resources in a single container by vertical scaling.
Okay, yeah, it sounds to me something like of enterprise scale, because as soon as I'm just playing around with my sandbox and like do some local coding, use the desktop, I won't need some DevOps help, right? But as soon as I would like to scale, as soon as I would like to provide the service all over the world and like to meet some accessibility criteria, like to be sure that my server is up and running like 24 hours and 7 days a week, I will need your help, right?
Yes, but also as you are the part of development team, some of your tools could be updated, and it's better to use DevOps here to he would try to do his best discovering basic errors or vulnerabilities inside of containers that possibly could be used for production environments, or even could do sandboxes to avoid building and running your code on your local machines, or run it in a separate environments inside of clouds or so far so on.
Sounds great. For me, at this point, I can say I can understand it as some kind of backbone for the whole development process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds very like respectable, I would say. Responsible and respectable. Okay, thanks a lot. I guess we have covered all the aspects of, or at least the highest level of the aspects of DevOps technologies. Few words from your side, like how would you recommend to start the career as DevOps? Should it be like if the area is complicated, if the area is really challenging from technical side and is very important for the project? Is it realistic for me just to start my career as a DevOps engineer like from scratch?
Yes, it's possible. We could use here self-study approach, since we could discover our modern tools and techniques. We have a bunch online courses, and even in EPAM we could use EPAM DevOps Lab to study in 2-3 months those basics in operation systems administration, automation using different kind of configuration management tools, infrastructure as a code approach, scripting languages, clouds, containers, adding here monitoring, logging, and alerting with soft skills to be connected with developers and other stuff like QA testing, automation, so far so on. And in 2-3 months, you are able to discover the basics of these mentioned technologies and able to join EPAM DevOps family.
That sounds great. In comparison to other streams, it seems pretty relative and yeah, acceptable for me as a junior, if I would be a junior. Okay, and like how many, let's say, how many DevOps there are usually on a project, in a project team?
Very interesting question. Because
how many projects can you like serve? Let's say a single DevOps. How many projects he can cover?
In the most cases, there are no DevOps on the project.
Oh.
But where I worked, the first project in EPAM was support, internal project. There were several DevOps guys who was responsible for our version control systems like GitLab, Jenkins, SonarQube, Crucible, and others. And it was not very difficult there, but all other projects that I participated, I was a single DevOps on the project, and it was okay. I was in the middle of a development team, and able to run all required DevOps stuff with only myself.
Okay, guys. So
And one
Yeah,
one
okay.
one more.
The last word.
One more last word. Yes. Currently, I'm running 2 projects as a project coordinator, and on one of each, I started as a senior DevOps and passed assessment as a lead systems engineer, lead DevOps, and that's able me to run 2 separate projects.
Okay. What is heard from your side? I can like summarize like the DevOps is a quite important and critical person for not for a single for a single project, but even for a set of projects, and it can be some kind of shared service across the company. So it's some new peculiarity, like different from all the things we have heard today. And Yury, thanks a lot for giving some insight on the profession. Guys, again, I would like to remind you that you can jump into the links which are provided below the video and get some more insight on training materials, on education topic, on like your career start here. And again, I would like to thank you summarizing our stream, to thank all the audience which was active with questions, and be sure that your questions will be answered at least in chat. So if you didn't hear your question live in a stream, like you can hope that it will be answered by our team in chat. And for sure, our time is up for the live stream, and I really hope I really hope your dive into IT like was successful and profitable today. And yeah, we are looking forward that you could join our next upcoming events dedicated to this top 5 BA QA development, automation and DevOps topics. And for sure, we welcome you to join EPAM Training Center. EPAM trainings just to start your career in this like diversity of technology streams inside IT. So stay tuned, be healthy, good luck.
Thank you.